guys, what is going on? My name is Darth Cinema, and welcome everyone to RWBY Volume 4, Chapter 11, called Taking Control. We are now at the second to last episode of Volume 4, and everything is starting to come together as our heroes are finally, well, mostly starting on their own respective storylines. Hopefully, this brings the members of RWBY together. We won't really know what they're doing until the finale, like how these storylines will conclude for the season finale. However, judging by this, the finale is shaping up to be an exciting episode. So let's go through each part of the episode just so we can see. So the first part is actually really interesting because we didn't get to see a lot of this this season, which is we got to see Cinder testing her new powers. And mostly I just see her using her fire powers, which it looks like just have gained more, like have gotten more deadly since she's taken control of the Fall Maiden's powers. We haven't really seen the extent, and that's kind of where we're going with this. We see her expressing a lot more emotion, and what's really a beautifully done scene. The smooth animation just of her taking out the Grim is just fantastic. And we see Salem lecturing her, saying she's holding back, and is saying that isn't she the same girl who said she wanted power? Are you really giving up so easily? And Cinder shakes her head, and she says, "Then stop holding back." So what does this mean by Cinder holding back? We don't know. Hopefully that's elaborated on, because I really think if taken proper care, this could develop into something really good. But we also get a conclusion with Tyrion coming in, minus his stinger on his tail, essentially on his hands and knees in front of Salem, saying that he had failed his mission. However, he does try to curry favor with Salem by saying he managed to poison Crow. However, all that happened is Salem just says that she's disappointed in him, and Tyrion absolutely breaks down into hysterics. He's sobbing, he's crying, and during this scene, we see a grim Beowulf sneak up on him and try to jump him, but immediately Tyrion bashes him with what's left of its tail, leaps on the Grim, and starts stabbing it. And the most disturbing thing about this scene, at first it looks like he's taking his anger out on the Grim, but he's starting to, and the more he stabs, he's going from sobbing to laughing, which makes it just so much more creepy to watch. And it as we hear him laughing, we just kind of zoom in on Cinder's face as she doesn't really know what to think. And I think that Cinder may have been someone who was taken advantage of by Salem, because that look on her face, it looks like she's realizing how in over her head she is in all of this. So we cut from that, we go to Yang wrapping up her part of this episode. She spray paints the arm black and yellow, thank goodness, and goes to her motorcycle. And then in the shed, uncovering it, where she's confronted by Tai Yang. Tai Yang is asking her where she's going, and Yang's like, "Oh, you're gonna stop me?" He's like, "No, I'm not, but we know you want to look for your mother, and we both read the note from your sister saying that she was going to Haven or to Mistral. So where are you going?" And the question really isn't answered. I feel that the two are going to be like the two are. She's gonna essentially kill two birds with one stone, because I do feel that Raven will interact with Team Ranger in the finale. That's my gut feeling, and that Yang is going to choose to go after Ruby, and then eventually by that action meet up with her mother, though totally not totally inadvertently in that aspect. So that alone, it's really nice to see Yang essentially get her confidence back in a way. She's not cocky, but she has that confidence that she can do this, which is fantastic to get that back. We cut to Weiss, and again, Weiss is quickly becoming my favorite character of the season. With her and Klein, Klein's helping her sneak out of the mansion, and it's done in secret. Weiss just has her sword and her suitcase, what I would assume full of dust, and her necessities as they are sneaking out. Um, Klein gets a call from I believe it's Whitley, and that separates the two. And when Weiss is continuing on her own, we get into a conversation with an argument essentially with Ironwood and Jacques, who, you know, we again reinforcing pretty much what we already know, that Ironwood and Weiss are the only sensible minded people in Atlas at this point, and Jacques is very much against, Atlas closing its borders, and Ironwood was saying that's going to happen. Uh, and it's just showing that the two of them are kind of butting heads, and it's going to set them on a collision course against one another. The funny thing was, we see that, it's not funny, but it's like you see that Ironwood bears some semblance of responsibility for what happened at Beacon. Like, mostly, like, he regrets, like, the way, like, he only wish he would have been able to act, and maybe Ozpin would still be alive. Like, that's, he didn't say that at first, but you can see, like, the pain on his face, and you can see that it does also strengthen his resolve to do better. He doesn't want a repeat of what happened, and that we find that Winter is at Haven Academy, and we find and that there will be an attack at Haven. Someone's planning to make a move, and no one will be able to go in a week's time in or out of Atlas without the council's approval, or essentially without Ironwood's approval. So I love his little quote, his little line to Jacques. He's like, "Then you better be on my good side, then." Um, and that's really, really nice to see Jacques put in his place, because he's quickly becoming the most despised character this season. Weiss manages to use a sigil to lock the door, buying her enough time to escape so that she can meet up Klein. Nothing really happens from this point as far as Ironwood and Jacques Schnee are concerned. However, it makes me wonder what part will they have in the finale, and whether or not we're gonna see what action will Jacques take to get Weiss back, because we saw that, he's a very controlling person. I doubt he's gonna let Weiss wander free throughout Remnant uh, without, like, doing something about it. So I can see them doing something with that. However, we get to see Weiss thankfully manages to escape through a secret passage in what looks like the lounge, and Weiss thanks him for everything. And we get to see that she really values Klein, and she views him as family. And she really does care for him, and it's a very touching moment. And it's just really, really nice to see that, because we get to see this compassionate side of Weiss that it's taken a while to come out, but really refreshing to see how much she's grown over the course of this show. And then we also we cut to Menagerie with Sun healing up, bandaged on the sofa, and we finally get the reason from Blake why she left, and that she blames herself for all of this misery being brought on her friends. Like, she doesn't want her friends to be hurt, and that's why she left. And she was saying things like, "I hope that my teammates hate me." It's like, I don't want to go back. I didn't want this to happen. Though Sun said that's essentially boiling down the entire conversation. It's like, you can't make our choices for us. We're gonna do what we want, and we're gonna help you because that's what friends do. And in a rather humorous little twist on a moment that happened earlier in the season, we find that the door to the room collapses, and it's Blake's mother, Collie, standing there, and it was really funny to see her get flustered and embarrassed. So, yeah, a lot of people are gonna say this is a Black Sun, like, confirmed shipping. I don't think so. Again, we really haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything to progress the ship any farther than that. But I'm not gonna get into a shipping war, because, to be honest, We really haven't. This is really the only thing that this moment really progressed, is that we finally got to see where Blake is going and finally overcome her self doubt. That's what a lot of this episode is. It's finally with Blake, Yang, and Weiss overcoming their obstacles and having their goals set. So by the end of the season, so by the end of this season, by the next episode, they all have a plan of what they're going to do. Where like they're in the position that RWBY was in at the end of Volume 3. And when we find that their Blake's parents end up coming and they said that Adam has they found out that Adam is going to overthrow the White Fang, though it gives Blake an idea and what they're going to do. Instead of destroying the White Fang, she says we are going to take back the White Fang. So I'm pretty sure this means that, you know, by the end of the series that that Blake will be the leader of the White Fang, um, as more of the peaceful movement that was intended to be at the start. So, however you guys choose to see that, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that kind of sets her apart from the rest of Team RWBY. I hope not, because this storyline pretty much keeps her in Menagerie for the moment, because they didn't make any hints of her leaving. Uh, but we'll find out about that in the next episode. Hopefully, you know, we kind of get one last glimpse into everyone's stories before it ends. And then we finally cut to Kuroyuri, where Ren and Nora are running full sprint into the town, where they meet up with Blake, not with Blake, with RWBY and Jean. I'm sorry, this episode has me in like 10 different kinds of emotions right now. And they hear the roar, and it just essentially stops Ren right in his tracks. He falls to his knees. He can't even believe what he's hearing, because he remembers. You can see the fear on his face. You can see the disbelief of what's coming. And we finally get to see this Grim, and it legitimately looks like terrifying and intimidating. And it makes me really wonder, how are they going to get out of this? Some people are theorizing that Crow is gonna die in the next episode. I can see Crow dying. I don't want Ren and Nora to die, because I feel like that would kind of be. I don't know if that, I wouldn't say a waste, but I don't see any purpose for them to die. At least not at this point. But at that moment, the Grim roars, and the episode ends. So this is a really good way. It's like kind of like the part one to the finale. I view this as more of a part one of the a two-part finale, rather than a single episode on its own. So probably my full feelings will be there when we see the finale next week on February 4th, when the season ends. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, if you liked the content, feel free to like it, subscribe for more anime content. I will be uploading more series after February 4th, when RWBY ends. Probably going to do one video for the finale, and then one video of my thoughts of the season as a whole. So once again, my name is Dark Cinema. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, slap a like on it, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care, and have a good night.